introductions. And use the chat facility to ask any questions. We'll introduce that. Khurshid, would you please put yourself on mute, please?
I don't think this one has, because they don't want to see
everybody
you.
else.
You need to see them.
Persis, have you started the recording?
I have indeed.
Okay, great. Thank you all for joining us. This should take us about an hour or so. And Persis, I'll leave it to you to admit everybody else who's just been joining now.
Sure.
Okay?
No longer
Right, so as the WSAC committee, we decided to hold this interesting new concept. I think it was Persis' idea, so I have to give him that credit and thank you for that. We all put our brains together and come up with this innovative, webinar. And the three panelists, you all know them, you know of them, and they're all in industries which have been hit fairly hard by the pandemic. That's hospitality, retail, the job and the recruitment sector, and the travel sector. So these three Zoroastrian business owners are going to talk about their experiences and what it means, what is meant to be running a business in a pandemic. The plan is that by the end of this session, we'll have drawn out a few questions and answers and help them on their way to reboot, recover, and grow. Okay, so that's the plan. All right. The agenda is essentially, I'll speak for a few minutes now. I'll introduce myself, my business, and then I'll bring in Cyrus, who will introduce himself. We'll ask a few questions. Use the chat in a facility to ask any questions you want. There is a slide on what sort of questions we want to ask to draw out the best. We'll bring in Shernaz then and Meherwan in that order, and hopefully with about 5 minutes to spare or so, we'll try and wrap up. We've got 38 now, which is great. Okay. This session is being recorded, and Darius assures me that the recording will be made available to everybody through an email. Okay. So a bit about me. There's a lot of text here, but a lot of you know me, and some of you don't. I'm the MD of a business support organization, and we manage the delivery of local authority and funded contracts. I live and die by the business model canvas. I'm an expert or so-called accredited a practitioner of the value proposition. So as an example, I've agreed with Cyrus that I'm going to speak to him and his team in early Jan. We're going to have a one-to-one sort of a session to help him to plan his next move. At this stage, I'm putting myself out there and saying any Zoroastrian business owner wants to work with me, send me an email or a text message, and we'll agree a time absolutely free of charge. Okay. These are two logos, Goal Mapper and Fit to Bid. A Goal Mapper is a business recovery program, and Fit to Bid is we work with a lot of local authorities and Heathrow Airport in helping small businesses basically get fit to bid and win more contracts. Who we are a group of business advisors. We work with the library, we work with chambers for commerce. So the risk of repeating myself, I'll move on. You've got, you will get a copy of this slide as well. But our business model is interesting. Okay, so we are we're not a B2C company, we're not a B2B. We consider ourselves a B2G company. Okay, sorry for that. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so here we are. We're a B2G company, and what that means is our clients are local government authorities. We work with them on funded business in the support. They work through us for program delivery, and our clients are SMEs for startups, etc. And we deliver that through members, through business advisors, and through specialists. Persis, can you hear me? Because my screen is completely frozen. Can you all see me or hear me?
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
I can.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So that's our business model. It's been very difficult. Our revenues have dropped as with everybody else, but we've managed to convert some of our business from a face-to-face sort of a basis to online, and that's worked for us. We had to change.
No, mute this thing here.
Okay. Once again, can I request the audience and everybody else except for Persis and myself to mute themselves? It will help prevent any interruptions. Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. Clients and partnerships, we work with chambers of commerce, we work with a lot of local authorities, and that is our business model. We're a B2G in a business. Okay, so that's a bit about me. Moving on to where we are now. Can everybody mute themselves, please? Thank you very much. Okay, moving on now, where we are now is we're all in this together, small or big business, whatever you do. So we're what we call in the low touch economy. This, again, at the bottom of the slide, you'll see a URL. There's a lot of information there on the low touch economy, on the circular economy, on the green economy. And the low touch economy is basically, it's characterized by low touch interactions, health and safety, and new industry shifts, work from home, the cashless society, and e-commerce. And it's going to be around 1 or 2 years or 2 or 3 years in some shape or form. And the challenge is therefore, how can I join the winners of this low touch economy? There are winners and losers. How can I move from where I am now, from red to green? And usually, I mean, hopefully we'll see from the three panelists that some of the ways to do it is to shift from defense to offense, not cause offense, but I'm just using that as an example. When you shift from defense to attack or defense to offense, do something, get out of your comfort zone. We had to do that. We've had to pivot. We had to change our business model. Invest in yourself, in time, in health, in reading, and that's absolutely critical. And innovate, adapt, and change or launch new products and services. So that's the theme. That's where we are now. Looking at the theme: reboot, recover, and grow. By reboot, we mean set some goals, set some new goals, look at what's out there, what you can do, what you can't do, but set clear goals to enable your business to recover from the pandemic. By recover, we mean take some actions, do something. So it's goals, actions, and hopefully we get our results. This is if you're launching a quick product or service, this can mean a 6 month sort of a plan, or it can mean an annual plan, it can mean a 3-year plan. But having a plan, having a business model, designing a value, sort of a proposition which your customers want, all that is more important now. Most of our customers which were there in the past have gone, or there'll be a lot of new customers. How do we get hold of them? How do we basically keep them? Okay, so that's the theme. Now, on this webinar, we want to be asking insightful questions. So I would urge you all, the panel and everybody else and the audience, to basically to listen, to look at what the panelists are saying, gain a good level of understanding, and then exercise your curiosity by asking open questions. It doesn't make sense to ask closed questions. Have you tried that? Have you done this? And you get a yes or a no. And don't give advice, and don't say things like, if I were in your place, because we can never be in their place. Okay, so this is an opportunity for you to get more out of the panel than just by asking closed questions. We do that by asking what we call insightful. So we ask you, what have you tried so far? Where have you been? When did you do this? Who have you talked to about this? And that way the panel will be able to answer your questions in a lot more detail, lot more sort of deeper questions. Okay, so I'm just looking at the time. We're absolutely bang on time. It's 6:10, and I'm going to start by inviting Cyrus, the first panelist. If Cyrus, can you unmute yourself and come on, please?
I've just done that.
Okay, great. And if you can introduce yourself just using this as a tips, please.
Okay, so yeah, I've got the screen in front of me. So I am, as the name says on top, Cyrus Todiwala. I am you can say chef, patron, chef, proprietor, MD, whatever you want to call it. Cafe Spice Namaste is our flagship restaurant, but we also operate 3 other restaurants. 2 of them are called Mr. Todiwala's Kitchen, And they are the first eponymous restaurants that we have. And they are both based in two separate Hilton hotels, one by Terminal 5 and one in the Canary Wharf Basin. Both the hotels are closed at the moment. This other restaurant that we have is a very tiny restaurant that has looked at taking on the Portuguese influence on Goa and Goan cuisine in a small restaurant called Mr. Todiwala's Petisco. Petisco means small plates, and that's a tiny little restaurant in Essex. And so far it's doing relatively well, but everything is shut at the moment. So that's who I am. What does my business do? My business is basically restaurants. So we serve food to members of the public, but over and above that, we also produce food. We have our own range of condiments and spices, which we do sell online. We do outdoor catering as and when the business opportunity arises. And we also do a lot of training. So within our restaurant, we have a specialized training kitchen, and we conduct classes for chefs. We invite other chefs to also come and take classes for other chefs and members of the public. Location, Cafe Spice Namaste is, sorry? Cafe Spice Namaste is on the border or the fringe of the city. That's known as East End. So the postcode E applies with Cafe Spice to start with. And the location is very much city-based, which unfortunately at the moment is the wrong location to be in. How long established? So we came to this country in 1991. We started our own business in 1993. Cafe Spice Namaste was launched on the 14th of November, 1995. And just 4 days ago, it completed 25 years of its existence in Britain. My role, I like to call myself just the chef, but that never happens. So the role is very vast in a sense. You are running a business, so you're cooking, you're running a business, you're looking at development, product development, which is also certain things I do for other people and other businesses. But it's a very strange role, actually. It cannot be defined because it's a small company, it's a private business, and you have to be everywhere, doing everything, though you have people looking after different roles within your business. Key staff, the most important member of our team is my wife, Pervin. Yeah, the boss. She bosses all of us around, so Pervin is the key person in the business. We have other staff who've been with us for many, many years, and they look after different aspects of the business. We have old-time staff who handle the website, who handle the e-marketing or the e-commerce business that comes in. We have one or two people look after the HR part of it. We have a head chef who looks after the kitchen and the production. We have another chef who looks after the production because Cafe Spice Namaste produces food for all the 4 restaurants. So we have what is called a CPU, or a central production unit, that provides food not just for all the restaurants, but we supply a few other places. So we have a key staff doing different functions. Customers. Who are our key customers? Originally, they were mostly the city people or city executives. But over the years, Cafe Spice Namaste has grown in its reputation. We are, if anybody follows the Michelin guide, we are the longest serving Michelin Beef Gourmand recipient in the Michelin guide in the world. Ever since the award was launched, we have been the recipient of that award. And so it has brought different customers to us from all over the world. People come. When they come to London, we get travelers who come to us, but only those that seek out food as something to be had on a holiday. The other people that come are people from all across the country. We are very lucky. We have customers who come on the Eurostar. They come for dinner and they go back to Europe. They come in the morning, they do some shopping, they come for dinner, and they shoot off by the train again. So we are very fortunate that way, that we have a very long list of followers. Key business partners and collaboration. So collaboration, of course, is the Hilton Hotel. We have 2 restaurants within 2 Hilton hotels. That's a collaboration. We have a partnership with Mr. Todiwala's Petisco in Essex. So that's a partnership. Cafe Spice Namaste is solely ours. And so we have the other partners that we would have is people we work with, we supply products to, or we supply food to during good times. Collaborations are across the industry. So we could be delivering special training programs for young people or running certain classes focused for certain kinds of food, for especially for people in the manufacturing sector of the business. So large companies that manufacture Indian food for the retail sector. What is unique about our business? I mean, that is a strange question, but it is unique in the sense that A, we do not restrict ourselves to having a fixed menu. So our menus are always varying. We buy predominantly British produce. Also, because I am very heavily involved within the farming community in Britain and the fishing community in Britain, I sit on several committees, some of them of which I am an ambassador for. So I'm the Oceans Ambassador for the Marine Conservation Society. So we raise funds for cleaning our beaches, keeping our oceans clean, making sure.
Cyrus, you have 1 minute more on this, please.
Yeah. So what can I say about the uniqueness of the business? It's unique only because it's been around for 25 years. Restaurants don't last more than 6 years in this country. That's the average, between 6 and 8 years. And I think 25 years makes us unique, makes us how would I say it? It's an institution now. That's unique. Okay.
Okay, thank you for that, please. Cyrus, I've got to ask you a few questions and open it up for chat as well. So sorry if I've cut you in full flow, but I need to do that. Otherwise, we'll run much. Okay. So I need to ask you a question. How has the pandemic impacted your business? Can you explain to us in about a minute?
Well, the pandemic has completely destroyed the business. So in short, we have lost 800,000 pounds of revenue this year. That's as far as the impact goes. That's a lot of revenue loss. So sticking on to the business is extremely difficult at the moment. We still have to pay our rents. We still have to pay the national insurance on the wages, etc., etc. So it's been a massive blow on us. Literally, the business has died. The city of London, who we rely on for our business, has capitulated completely. And there are no people around. So we are at the moment in a ghost town. And that's how badly.
So what are the key sort of challenges that you faced? You mentioned a few of them. I'm personally very sorry to hear you say what you did. I'm sure the rest of the people on the call are equally upset about what you said, but that's a reality. And I mean, what are other sort of key challenges that you faced since?
So the key challenges we faced, number one, was with our landlord. And to be able to survive in the business, you have to pay your rent. And that is a major challenge for us because we have to produce that revenue to pay staff. We don't want to get rid of some of our staff because they've been with us for a long, long time. That's the challenge. How do you keep it going? The other challenge is, how do you still trade with what you're allowed to trade with, i.e. take away business?
Okay, so on this point, Cyrus, can I just request you to tell us a bit more about what are your hopes and your future plans? How do you plan to reboot, recover, and you've got a move impending as well in a few months' time. So the next a couple of minutes before we open up the chat, can you tell us about your hopes and your future plans, please?
Number one, we are being kicked out of this building. So the landlord wants his building back, so we have to find a new home. That's our greatest challenge at the moment. All of a sudden, we are in this situation whereby which very soon we don't have a roof on our heads as far as the restaurant goes. But because we also operate 3 other restaurants, we have to make sure that we continue to be able to provide and supply those restaurants. So number one, looking for a new site to set up. B, finding the revenue to do so because it's a huge challenge. Setting up a restaurant is nothing less than, even a small one like the one we are looking at, nothing less than £250,000. That's a challenge. So we have to first establish a new restaurant because that's expected of us. 2, we have to look at establishing another kitchen from where we can produce food to supply not just the other restaurants, but also to be able to supply other places, because I think that is going to be a good part of the business going forward. We have to change with the times, because all of a sudden we are thrown into this trap and we are looking at various ways of going online, of doing more promotion work online and trying to sell more into people's homes. So we are now going directly from the business into retail as well. And all of this we have to look at, because you cannot stay where you are and you cannot keep prospering as you are, because times have changed. Everything has changed. And because of that, we are adapting ourselves to do the same thing. And we are learning. We are old people as such, old in the sense that been working for many years in a particular kind of a focus area. Now the focus has to open up. We have to widen our horizons and we have to capture markets far away from us. And that's what.
Okay, Cyrus.
If I could just ask a quick question, though.
Thank you very much. We've got a couple of questions now from the audience. One from Darius saying, Cyrus, it's a difficult question, but given your wide-ranging role, how and what do you focus on most to make sure you get the best bang for your time? 1 minute, please, on this.
Yeah, I can give you less than a minute. I mean, my first and primary aim, of course, is the cuisine. We have maintained a standard for many, many years. We are known globally now. Cafe Spice Namaste is no longer just a London-based reputed restaurant. It's a globally reputed restaurant. We are regarded by some of the, like one of the Frommer's Guide in America rates us as their most favorite Indian restaurant in Britain. And so we have a role. So my first focus, of course, is the cuisine. The next focus is the operation, the regular customers that come in. So we have lots of things. Things break down, multiple things happen in a business. And so you channelize yourself, first the product, then everything else.
Okay, I've got another question from Yasmin Dubash. Have you done any food delivery during the pandemic whilst the restaurant is shut? Another minute there, please, Cyrus.
Yes, we have done deliveries. We are trying to do better. As I was saying earlier to the panel alone, that we are looking at doing chilled boxes now. So we have devised 3 menus, the Parsi box, the Goan box, and the veg box. And this can go all the way across the country. We have done trials and errors. We have sent boxes to lots of people to get feedback. And we are now working on that. So yes, we will be going all across the country just in a few days' time. A new page is going to be put on the website that will purely deal with that kind of sales. The takeaway business in our area is very poor because we are battling with cheap restaurants in the Brick Lane area that serve food for a $5, which we cannot do. And so, yes, we are going far. We are going into people's homes and we are going to develop.
Thank you, Cyrus. Another question, please. What, if any, and this is from Chirag Sukhia, what, if any, strategies do you adopt to keep in touch with your most loyal and regular customers? 1 minute there, please.
Yeah, we had a database of over 25,000 people, which has now shrunk after the GDPR, but we still have about 15,000 people on our database. They get a newsletter very regularly. Everybody can sign up to the newsletter, cafespice.co.uk. We keep in touch on a regular basis. We keep them updated on events we do, charity dinners we do. Our very famous Khadras Club or the Greedy Pigs Club at Cafe Spice is always a sellout. Not with Parsis, of course, but we get more of our intrigued Gora customers who use us a lot more. And yeah, so we keep in touch with people in various formats. Things are posted on the website, so people click on the website, they can see what's happening. So we are in touch with people as often as we can.
Thank you, Cyrus. Next question from Persis. Are the profit margins on food delivery better than or worse than in-restaurant dining?
That's a very tricky question, actually, because you may think that the delivery margins are bigger, but we absorb some of the delivery costs. So if you work with people like Deliveroo or Just Eat or Uber Eats or whatever, they take away 30 to 35% of your food sales, plus they charge the customer. So you never make money on takeaway food, which you sell through the operators. You will make a little bit more margin when you directly supply into people's homes, but the delivery costs on chilled food is a bit higher, but it actually is workable. And the restaurant margins are very, very strange, because while you might do a GP of 80%, between 70 and 75 to 80%, your profitability at the end of the year could be just about 1.5%, your net.
Okay.
So
In the
restaurants are,
interest of time, Cyrus, in the interest of time, I have one last question, please. This is from R&R Rivetna. Very sorry to hear about the issues, etc. The question is, do you get any help from the government? What help do you get from the government?
well, at the moment, the government has helped all businesses by allowing the staff to be put on furlough. So government is contributing towards 75%, 70% of the salary. But the restaurants, I mean, the other businesses still have to pay whatever few hours they may call people normal salary. So it gets deducted from the salary. But yes, it's a big help. It's a big boost. The government also launched a couple of loan schemes and a grant scheme, which has benefited the businesses in some shape or form. We fell outside that scheme because our rateable value is much, much higher than what the government was offering. So our rateable value is 80,000 pounds, and the government is offering rateable value to be below 40,000 pounds or 50,000 pounds. So yes, but if that help didn't come, 95% of our industry would have shut down by now.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Cyrus. In the interest of time, Roxana, we'll have another opportunity at the end for open questions to the panel. So if you can basically save your question, we'll try to come back to that again. Thank you very much, Cyrus. If I can request Shernaz now to come on line and take us through this, please.
Thank you, Nauzar. It's really great to be here, and I'm so pleased that so many people are here today. And I just want to, before I start, I want to thank the company of entrepreneurs, because some of my freemen are on this today as well. So thank you, everyone. So here I go. So who am I? My name is Shernaz Engineer. I run a recruitment agency, and I have done so for the last 25 years. What does your business do? So there are two sides to the business. One is commercial generalist office staff, and the other one is supply teachers. And we are known for our specialist side of the supply teaching side, which is for special needs children. Location, we're located in Holborn, but we are pan-London. We send teachers all around London. We've been established 25 years, and my role, I don't do the day-to-day interviewing anymore as I used to, or send the temps out, but my role has morphed into compliance, obviously overseeing everything. All the decisions in the end come to my desk. Finance, and the biggest role that I have is networking. I'm very good at that, and I bring in new business. Key staff, I have an operations manager, Sarah, who oversees both sides of the business. So we have interviewers who run the teaching side. They have been in education themselves. They are a different kettle of fish. They start very early in the morning and finish early. And on the other side, we have a couple of people who deal with office-based staff. And I have to say that I started my recruitment career and got into legal staffing. And that has still, on the commercial side, that is still quite a large part of my business. I do send out legal staff. In fact, we are looking for solicitors abroad at the moment. So that is quite a key part of our commercial side. My key customers, as I said, are schools. Quite a lot of them are special needs schools, and we do have a good name there. The rest are primary schools. We also have PRUs, which are called people referral units, where children who are highly challenged are sent there when the schools can't cope. And we have, on the commercial side, as I said, we have legal customers, legal firms, but we also do a lot of work with different types of firms, from estate agents to finance, to pensions and that sort of thing in the city. Key business partners and collaborators. Um, we're a boutique agency, and at some point, quite a lot of small agencies decided that they weren't getting all the sort of guidance that we needed from our large recruitment agency confederation. So we started something called Team, which I'm a founding person there. And Team is a collaboration of small boutique agencies, and we actually share the business. So if I have someone who is good at certain skills and someone else has the job that fits that person, then we get together, we place that person, and we split the fee. It's a multi-million pound business on that side, and Team itself is very good at actually holding our hand. And at the moment, where virtually most recruitment agencies are decimated, they have been very good at looking for things that we can actually tender for, which I will come to later on. Something unique about your business? Yes. My business has been going for 25 years. Most of my staff have been with me for over 10 years, which gives clients confidence. So when they come to us, there isn't someone new who's asking all the same questions. We know our clients very well because we've been there a long time. And the other thing which is unique and which has actually got me business, and I'll give you an example, where I say that we have the strength to say no. Many times agencies get worried, a client gives you a job and you think, oh my God, I haven't got anyone, so let's send old so-and-so. And they send people that don't fit the criteria. But we don't do that. I tell my staff, I don't care if we don't get this business this time. If we tell our clients, we can't do it for you this time, we don't have anyone suitable, they will come back to us. And honesty actually pays. And I have got.
Thank you, Shernaz. In the interest of time, I need to ask you a few questions now.
Okay.
Before we open up the chat again. An important question for you again. It's obvious your business has been impacted, but what are the key challenges that you faced since March?
Well, on the 19th of March, we knew that the schools were shutting on the 20th, and that was it. And we had over 70 temporary teachers out, and we were told one by one, sorry, from tomorrow we won't need your staff. Again, on the commercial side, we had temporaries out. We had people going for interviews. We had people who were going to start in jobs the following Monday. Everything went. I literally walked out on the 19th of March, and I didn't know what was going to happen. It was awful, actually. I'm sure Cyrus will tell you the same thing.
What have you done, Shernaz, to try to reduce or mitigate, those risks?
The first thing I actually did was...
What are your key steps that you've taken?
Right. So the first thing we did was I wanted to know what my cash flow was, because that is very important. I didn't know on the 19th of March that the Chancellor would give us the furlough scheme, which has really been amazing. I have managed to keep all my staff, and I've managed to keep my temporary staff because we could put them on furlough. And I put 70 teachers on furlough, which not a lot of agencies did. But we did that, and it's paid dividends because they are more loyal to us than they would have been if we just said, forget it, we are not going to do it for you. So that was the first thing. The second thing was I wanted to know, I knew that if there was no business, we're not going to make a profit. So the main thing was, do we have cash in the business? And yes, we did. So we could carry on. And then my bank manager actually said to me, why aren't you taking out the bounce back loan? And I said, I don't need it at the moment. And he said, Shernaz, don't be silly. Everyone's doing it. You better do it. Even if you don't use it, you should just take it. And I did. And, it has come to some use where we were able to keep ourselves going. The main thing we did was which was fortunate, my lease came to an end in July. So between April and July, I was paying £4,000 a month on rent alone, which was ridiculous. We weren't using the office. So I closed my office. I took a small one desk office, which is amazing. It only cost me £400. So there's a vast difference from 4,000 to 400. And my staff are working from home. We've got a new cloud-based system on the telephones, and we started again. And
Shernaz, I have a question for you from the audience, from Nauzar Manekshaw. By the way, Nauzar is a member of my company, of Brandwin. He's a valued business advisor, and he's been working with us for a couple of years on a few major contracts. So Nauzar is asking you, Shernaz, how have you adapted your business model given the current
Yeah, so we've had to pivot. So first we started looking at what funds. I mean, the main thing was we are following the funding of the government for education. I realize the commercial side will have to be put to bed for the time being because no one was taking on staff. They were all working from home. So the education was one thing that was still going on. And so what I did was I followed the funding. The first funding I thought would be tuitions. I tried to get into it, but the traction wasn't there because the schools hadn't received the money from the government and they weren't interested. We did put it on for private tuitions, but it didn't come off because we don't have a name out for tuitions. But what has really done the trick is intervention. None of you would know about this, but this is where the funding is at the moment, and this is where we're going all out for it, where the government has told the schools that they should not put disruptive pupils into PRU. They should keep them there and have one-to-one teaching. And this is where the funding is for the schools, and the schools have to use it up before April, otherwise they lose this funding. So this is where we are concentrating ourselves, sending in supply teachers, mainly teaching assistants, to sit with these pupils and help them to get on. So that's one thing.
I mean, I've got a couple of more questions, please, in the interest of
can I
time.
just tell you very quickly, the
Yes,
other
please.
thing we're looking at, and we've gone for a tender, is the job seekers scheme, which the government is starting. There is a tender out there. We've applied for it. We won't know till January. But for that, I've had to buy a franchise, which is an online franchise called 5 Steps to New Workings. And this will, as soon as the government gives us people who are seeking jobs, we will train them up, we will do their CVs, or we'll help them to do their CVs and give them interview techniques. So that's another thing that we're going for. And we hope we win the tender because that will make us quite a bit of money.
Okay, and thank you for explaining that. I've got a sort of a closed question from Persis, which can be answered by simple yes or no. Are you going to move into online one-on-one tutoring or teaching online? Yes or no?
Maybe.
Okay, that's great. Okay, next question is a broad question from Sherry. It also basically leads into my final question as what are your hopes and future plans? So she's asking, how do you view the future of your business?
Actually, I'm a gambler and also an entrepreneur. So I always think the glass is always half full. And I think I must be the only one who's actually taken on one extra staff in September, because I thought the main reason was that when you are a small agency, recruitment consultants won't move to you because they'd like to work for large agencies. By this time, all those large agencies made their very good recruiters, redundant. And I thought, this is my chance to get someone really good. And I have. And that's where the bounce back loan comes in, because I could afford to do that. And she has been brilliant. And when things open up, she will go back to her clients and her clients will come to her. So that's where, I'm hopeful that the business will get to where it is, but maybe not in the same way. Maybe the job seekers thing will become quite big. The government is envisaging there'll be 160,000 people that we'll have to put through this scheme. So who knows? This is where I'm putting my hopes on.
Okay, and thank you, Shernaz. We'll come
Thank
back to
you.
you again and to Cyrus with open sort of a forum again. But now to invite Meherwan, please. Meherwan, can you come in, please, and just
Yeah,
introduce yourself based
yeah.
on these key points?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Meherwan Bozorgi. Uh, for those of you who know me already, so I own and run a travel agency. We're a Zoroastrian travel agency. Zoroastrian award-winning, five-star rated, family-run, independent travel agency and tour operator that offers 100% financial protection to all our customers through the Travel Trust Association, and all holidays are toll protected and flights are toll protected. So we have our own ATOL license. What our business does, we offer extremely competitive prices on all elements of travel, including flights, accommodation, package holidays, excursions, travel ancillaries. So it's a travel agent that does everything basically. Where are we located? We're located in Bedford. We've got a shop that people can walk into in Bedford Town Centre. For those of you who don't know where Bedford is, it's in Bedfordshire, not far from London. It's only about an hour and 10 minutes from Zoroastrian House, so it's not that far when you think about it. We have clients from all around the world, to be fair. So uh, we have the systems in-house, like online booking systems for flights and everything, wherein we could have clients flying from, say, Australia to the UK or even to India, and we could still book their tickets or holidays sitting here in the UK. So we've got the resources, so to speak. I've personally been a travel agent for 20 years myself, having worked in India and Dubai and in the UK. And when I was 18, I used to take groups of up to 200 people to Singapore and Malaysia when I was 18, much older now. You can try and guess my age, but that's a different thing. So we've been established 7 years. On the 1st of August 2013, we opened our doors to customers. I used to manage a travel agents before that for 8 years in London. And I was always inspired to go out and open my own. I guess there's many young people on here who want to do the same, and let's not let the pandemic make you feel any different. My role, I'm actively part of the day-to-day running of the company. So I personally enjoy booking holidays myself, booking flights myself, helping out customers, doing whatever I can. So I'm very much involved and obviously sharing my expertise and experience. Key staff, we had a team of 5 members. We're down to 3. My wife, Binafsha, she's also very much involved in the business as a director. Who are key customers? We enjoy custom of both corporate and retail clients. We've got some corporate clients that have been working with us for many years. Corporate business over time has declined substantially. I would say, especially when Brexit came about, you could see that there was corporate business was slowing down. But then obviously with COVID, corporate business, thanks to Zoom that we're on today, corporate business has gone down further. Key business partners and collaborations. So we contract with many hotel chains and suppliers directly. For flights, we book our own flights in-house and tailor make our own packages too under our ATOL license, which is mandatory in today's day and age. And finally, something unique about our business. I mean, what's unique is us. Firstly, we are Zoroastrian, we're Parsis, yeah. We offer a personalized service. I could go further to say unrivaled expertise, competitive prices, and exceptional attention to detail. I mean, to just elaborate slightly on that, and I hope I'm not running short on time. I mean, we do everything from a client who comes to us and says, we want a holiday to Spain, bucket and spade to Benidorm, it's a group of 10 lads going for someone's bachelor's party. We treat them the same way as to someone who comes in and books $100 grand holiday. And that does happen, believe it or not. So
Thank you,
it's
Meherwan. Just to open it up in the interest of
Sure.
time, that is very interesting. A lot of us, including me, hadn't met you before, so welcome again. A couple of questions from chat. From Viraf, he asks, what is the benefit of booking a flight through a travel agent rather than direct with an airline if the prices are similar?
You see, this is the thing. This is what many people don't realize. They often mention, why can't I book online? Booking with an airline there's no harm in that, in my opinion. But normally a travel agent should be able to offer you something cheaper than what you would pay if you book directly with a hotel or an airline. Plus the risk involved is that person. It's not about, I spoke to so and he said he'd give me a interconnecting room, for example, where a hotel is concerned. To give you a simple example, I mean, with airlines, many people have this habit of going on Skyscanner. I mean, I don't personally enjoy selling flights because it's too much hassle. There's no money involved in it. I mean, you know, we're more creative with holidays, but we do book flights as well. But at the same time, what happens is when problems occur, when issues happen, it's your travel agent. I know someone locally who booked a holiday recently to Dubai, and they booked a holiday with British Airways. So they booked British Airways flights and they booked a hotel. If they came to me, I would have suggested you should have booked Emirates, because with Emirates, you get global insurance cover for free. If the government, if the FCO advises, or the Foreign and Commonwealth Office advises people from traveling to Dubai, and say if you still went to Dubai and you don't mind the self-isolation on the way back, you could be in Dubai with a sprained ankle and you could get no cover from your insurance, because your insurance, your travel insurance will tell you, well, you shouldn't have gone against the FCO advice. Whereas if they've booked on Emirates, the
Next
flight
question,
Dubai,
please. Okay, I
they
mean,
would have
thank
to
you for that, please. Thank you. Next question from Persis. It's a very interesting one. It says, how do you intend to pivot to offer holidays in the UK until international travel opens up again? Are you planning to? Do you intend to?
We've explored that. We've explored that consistently. But the fact of the matter is, what you pay for a holiday in the UK is far greater than what you can get for your money on a holiday abroad. I mean, you could go to Cornwall for a weekend and you'd probably pay about £400-500 over 2 nights for accommodation. In Antalya, you could get an all-inclusive resort, 5-star, with the best quality you could imagine. You know, imagine, I say, not as Dubai or India standard, but still for the same amount of money. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And the UK, and I've always said this, the UK does not have the amount of space. I mean, hotels through the summer this year were completely fully booked. So it's a no-brainer. We've tried it and we'll continue to try it, but you do best when you know what you're doing. So obviously we know that international travel has a future. Obviously COVID's impacted it greatly. We've been impacted by it greatly because we've had to refund clients where we've had a refund back from the airline, but we've had to wait for 6 months for some refunds to come through. And it's been an absolutely chaotic situation wherein not only we've had to give people their money back, but we've also had to give people the money we've made on a holiday probably 12 months from today. It's really no math. And it's an industry that the government's forgotten, quite frankly. Okay, they've come up with furlough and they've come out with the grants and one thing and the other. But I mean, the bottom line is that there's still other expenses that can never be covered. And the bottom
Thank
line
you for that,
is,
Meherwan. Thank you. I mean, it's a bit sad to hear these stories, but they're what it is in terms of the pandemic and business situation. I have another question here from Roxana. Would you offer a full refund on any bookings that could get cancelled in a pandemic?
You see that there's many different variations to it. This is what we've been trying to urge the government, the travel consortiums and everyone to basically get clarity to this. There's no clarity to it. We can only give a refund to a customer if we get a refund from the airline. And there's been situations where we've been waiting 9 months to a year for refunds to come through. So it's where we've got a refund in full. We've obviously given a full refund to our customers. We've communicated with our customers. We've tried and been as honest as we can. We always stay as open as we can. Try to tell customers where possible to go through their insurance. We've obviously, it's a battle. It's really a battle because what airlines have done is they've been quite cheeky in all of this. But again, my heart goes out to them because they've lost a lot of money.
Okay, one more question, please, and then a couple more before we end the session. Is question from Javed. It's come through Persis for some strange reason. How do you compete with the big players like Expedia, Hog Robinson, etc.?
I think the competition lies in the sourcing, and we source not just from one source. So, I mean, everyone on the Zoom call today can give us a try. It's as simple as, like I say, people whom I know, fellow Zoroastrians more than anyone else, that if you've got a price, come to us with a price. Give us a chance and we'll say, because there's many hotels we contract directly with. It's not as easy as it sounds for being a travel agent that you just go online and you just book it online. We work with many bed banks. In every country, we've got a local destination management company that looks after our guests. So when we are chartering a helicopter for someone in Seychelles, or we've got a client doing a golden triangle in India, we've got that personalized service. There's someone standing with this very logo, or if not that logo, someone there to assist, and we're always available 24/7, for our clients. That's how we compete in service, in price, in that personalized touch. We check in our customers. We'll make sure their ESTAs, if they're going to America, or their e-visas are done. We do everything. We're more than a travel agency, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Meherwan. Again, one last question here is, what are your hopes and your future plans to rebuild your business?
I mean, the way I look at it, I came to this country 15 years ago with 200 pounds in my pocket. I think I've done quite well to where I've reached with the business. I think the hopes and aspirations are always there. Even COVID hasn't been able to kind of mitigate them, if I can say that. But personally, I think in 2020, I was looking to open a travel shop, maybe in London. Obviously, that hope, that's going to be on the back burner for the time being. But I'm hoping that business will pick up again. I'm hoping, in this quiet period, we've tried to familiarize ourselves more. We've tried to think to ourselves that we'll keep fighting, we'll keep going as much as we can. But obviously, we need the custom. We need our customers to come back to us, for new customers to come to us. So what are our plans? Just keep trying. Just keep trying and think outside the box, to be fair. And yeah, that's about it, really.
Thank you, Meherwan. Wish you and obviously all the other panelists are the best as well. These are difficult times, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we have lovely pictures of all the three panelists. Any questions that you want to ask them, again, through chat? I've got one question which I had to skip earlier, so I'm going to go back to it. It's from Roxana. I think it is for Cyrus. Cyrus, you there, Cyrus? Cyrus, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, done that.
Okay, great. The question is for you, Cyrus. Is $250,000 requirement, which you mentioned earlier, include the restaurant renting cost or just equipment and decor? Just a couple of minutes or even a minute on what the $250,000 means, please.
Right. So, today we had a meeting with one of the designers who will draw the internal design only to give it to the shop fitters. Just to draw a just to draw what an internal part of the new restaurant look like will cost us £10,000. So, and this is not the shop fitting. The shop fitting is coming to roughly £70,000. The kitchen is coming to about £75,000, and the rest of the restaurant. So we are looking at over £300,000 just to set up a new restaurant. And this is not considering the rent. Yes, it considers the deposit for the rent. So when you pay a deposit for the landlord to have a 3-month advance deposit which they hold, it will include that, but it won't include anything else. It will
Okay.
include, yes, some pre-opening costs and keeping some money in the bank to fund the startup of the restaurant. But all in all, setting up a restaurant is no easy matter. It's very expensive.
Okay, and thank you, Cyrus. I have a question, very interesting one from Persis for the panel, and I'm going to start with Shernaz, 1 minute each, because it's an interesting question here. It says, what are the panel's thoughts on a Zoroastrian view on your big challenges and how to face them? Is this different from other traditions? So over to you, Shernaz, 1 minute, please. Is there a Zoroastrian view on how to face our challenges? Can you unmute yourself, please, Shernaz?
Well, I think yes. In lots of ways, my religion defines me. And I think all three of us are looking towards the future. And I think that's a very Zoroastrian way. We are not letting whatever has happened now and is happening, stop us from doing what we feel that eventually, I think in the new year, will be a better year for all of us. And I think this is what Zoroastrianism teaches us, to look forward, not to look backwards. And I think, yes, it is very much a part of me and my religion.
Okay. Over to you, Meherwan. The same question to you, please.
I think good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. I think as it
Very much.
rightly mentions, I think obviously we're all in business and there's money to be made, but what comes around goes around. So as simply put, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. I mean, to top it up, I do my prayers more or less every day, light a candle to my grandparents in the office. So that keeps me going as well, I guess.
Great. Over to you, Cyrus.
Well, I mean, we always worked on our principles, and our principles are very firm. So, which is why, I mean, we are rated as, or we were voted last year as Britain's most ethical sourcing restaurant. And that lives on our principles of Zoroastrianism, of working in tandem with nature all the way through. But looking ahead, never give in. No, never give in. And we've been through lots of ups and downs. In fact, we are thinking that post-pandemic, we will have a better foothold on business going forward. And what we're looking at now is not just a new restaurant. We are looking at an expansion of the business on 3 different fronts. Had we only been stuck to Cafe Spice, we would have only remained as we are, looking at within what we can do. But now we have to look outside. So impossible if you didn't have faith in what you believe in and the conviction with which you do things. I don't think we would have survived even this pandemic.
Okay, thank you, Cyrus. In the interest of time, we've actually come to the end of the session, but we've got a few questions more. So as long as we have the capability on Zoom, and Daras, please tell me if I'm incorrect, we'll continue for the next 5 or 10 minutes, because I've got 3 more questions from the audience. Quickly, if I'll ask one of each. Okay, so this is to you, Shernaz, from Sherry. Outside of the government, what can people do to support smaller, larger businesses during this time? Over to you, Shernaz.
I think basically for my business is, if you're a governor of a school, or if you know any schools who might need some teachers or intervention workers, then that would be great. Or if you're running a company, if you need some office staff, basically just to get some business in. at this very difficult time.
Okay, thank you. Next question I'll ask of you, Cyrus, please. Was it traumatic, and how did you cope emotionally when lockdown descended on us?
Traumatic, yes, because just like Shernaz, we didn't know what hit us. The hospitality industry is probably one of the worst hit, like the travel and tourism industry as well, because we are an industry with very heavy costs, and suddenly everything has been pulled from under you. So yes, traumatic it was. We didn't know how to react. We didn't know what was going to happen. Emotionally, if you lose control, you lose everything. And I think we had a few more issues, which of course are not to discuss over here. But we had a lot of other issues we had to deal with at the same time, because we had this huge litigation case with our landlord as well happening at the same time. So that was very heavy on us. And so we had a battle with the solicitors and the legal system, and we had this pandemic to deal with. But no, if you lose your cool, you're finished. So you don't lose your cool. You try and compose yourself and see what you can do to get on top of things again. And that's exactly what we did. Luckily, we have
Okay.
some very, very good people who work with us. And thanks to them, we managed to put a little bit more of a plan in place to sustain ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Cyrus. A question from Chirag, which I'll divert to Meherwan, is what practical tips can you offer which you may have put in place to keep your staff motivated in such difficult times?
I think in any form of leadership, it comes from the top. I think you've got to stay motivated first. And it's hard because you've got things that aren't going your way in every little way. People asking for refunds right, left, and center. You're refunding people money. You're having holidays being cancelled. The government's not being clear about rules. So I think the tip is just to stay calm and carry on. Like they say, keep calm and carry on. But yeah, I mean, it's been difficult. It's not been easy in any way. Like Cyrus has said, we've all faced our fair share of challenges, business or no business. My 8-year-old son could tell you the same thing because he had no school for pretty much about 6 months. And I think as parents, you've got to keep going. So yeah, practical tips, I think, just think that something good is coming around the corner. I mean, now more so than ever. I mean, with the vaccine coming out, assuring ourselves that, travel's got a future, business has got a future, and that people's jobs are secure. I think that's what matters.
Okay, and thank you, Meherwan. I have a last question here, unless I get another one. This is, I'm going to ask Cyrus. It's pertinent to what he's been sending out in terms of emails, etc., and some of his friends, what work they've done. The question is from Roxana, and she asks, can we tap on a community funding, such as a GoFundMe page, to help a few struggling Zoroastrian organizations?
I was muted. Yes, of course we can. And I think there are a lot of people coming together doing different things. I do not know about funding for small business within our own community, but as members of the of the Chamber of Commerce, I'm sure we can put the message out. There must be something out there. We have actually been very privileged that 3 of our regular customers have put an appeal out to all our database, and we had to put the letter out because they insisted. And there's a lot of help and support coming from most of our customers actually, which is fantastic. We never expected that. We are totally overwhelmed by the support we are seeing coming in and from our industry, and people are willing to help us to do different things, though they can't give any money. They are willing to do different things for us. And I think Sunnu asked a question about integrity, about Zoroastrian integrity. And that is what it's all about. I think because we run a outfit that is principally based on our teachings and our philosophy, that is integrity, and that is showing today to us. And our customers are showing us that, which completely bowled us over. And I think within the Zoroastrian community, I'm sure we can start something for fledgling businesses who need small sums of money at least to kickstart them or get them going. And it's something that the World Chamber of Commerce should put together. So that
Thank you, Cyrus. Thank you for that. It's a laudable idea. We can discuss it in the committee and speak to the World Chamber as well. So just before we end, and I ask Shernaz to say a few closing words as the president of our chamber. A couple of more slides just to let you know what else is in the pipeline. As if we didn't have the issues of the pandemic, we also have a Brexit transition. And I work very closely with Hounslow, a chamber, and we have a session we have the first of 3 webinars, and there are experts on them. This link will be on the slides, which we will send you in terms of the recording. So feel free to log in. It's at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the 25th. It's the first of 3. Hopefully, experts will be able to answer all your questions. Okay. So the 3 panelists talked about, we talked about doing business in a pandemic, and I would say that's business in a resilience. If you look at the sort of definition is how can we recover, how can we move, how can we be a bit more elastic, how can we be a bit more sort of flexible, do things a bit different. And the message I got from the 3 panelists is basically what Arnold Schwarzenegger said. We will be back. Okay. So on this note, I'm going to ask you, before I hand over to Shernaz, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourselves. Please, everybody unmute yourselves. Can you do that all now? Okay.
Done.
So unmute yourselves, everybody. Put your hands together and let's put our hands together and give a big, clap for the 3 panelists and hope they'll be back soon. Okay, so I'm going to start. Okay, so I want you to hear it nice and loud, please. Everybody. Great. Okay, thank you for that. So I'm going to hand over now to Shernaz to say a few closing words as our president and our chairperson. So over to you, Shernaz.
Thank you, Nauzar. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, including the other 2 participants, Nauzar, Meherwan, and Cyrus, and also to Persis and Darius who set this up for us. And, it's been a great pleasure and a privilege to speak to everyone. We could have gone on telling you how the pandemic has, in fact, impacted on our business, but I think you've got the flavor of what has happened and what we are going to do about it. So thank you so much. If there's any questions that we haven't answered, please let us know. You can email us and we will answer them for you. And remember, we have our AGM in London, which is going to be a virtual one in January. But in October, I want everyone to come for our conclave. And we hope to see you in London in October. So thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, all.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And Nauzar,
Thank
and
you all.
sorry,
Thank
I
you.
must thank Nauzar as well. I did thank
You have.
Yes, you did.
No, I haven't.
Many thanks, Shernaz.
Thanks,
Thank
I've
you.
got Farouk at the back telling me what to do.
Oh, I'm thinking.
also.
Behind every good woman, there's a good man.
Thank you.
Remember that.
Quite
Good
right.
night, everyone. Good night.
Thanks
Bye.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you all for your comments. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.